I'll never forget it. There she was, just happy as can be, what you would typically want from your guest. I was working at Chili's, and this was probably about my junior year of college, maybe sophomore. I did what any old college student would do, whatever he can to make some money. I'd been working at Chili's for a couple years at this point, and I took a lot of pride in being able to help guests and help them have a positive experience. And this was one of those. I was excited. I was excited to take the plates off their table, to clean it off. The smiles on their face made it seem like they were having a good time. And so, naturally, when I came back to drop the check off, a genuine conversation came about. What are you doing in college? Oh, I am studying finance, minoring in marketing. Oh, nice. What do you plan on doing with that? Nothing. What I actually plan on doing is pursuing photography full time. That's what I want to do. I've been shooting photography for a couple years now. It has really given me a lot of satisfaction, makes me feel like I'm good at something, and I really feel like I could do it. Just to get the only response from her, which was, well, that's great and all, but just make sure that you bring food to the table. Let that one sink in. At the time I was feeling really high off of like I said, I loved giving people good experiences. And whenever they had a good experience, I had a good experience. So I guess you could say it was kind of selfish. But really, I just wanted to do a good job. And up until this moment, I was feeling like I did a good job. And immediately, I remember when she said those words, I could feel the pit in my stomach just turning. Just the heat rush in my body, that rush in your body when something uncomfortable happens and it's currently happening in the moment, and you have to decipher between, do I sit here and focus on the way I'm feeling, or do I respond? And in any old conversation, you must respond unless you just want to look like an awkward, I don't know. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to focus on the feelings that I was feeling. So I faked it till I made it. And we finished the conversation, and I laughed at us. Ha ha ha. Yeah, duh. But deep inside, I was really, really upset. Just not really feeling like I had this understanding of how the world operated. I was in college at the time, and the only real world aspect that I was exposed to was on campus, in the classrooms, in the fraternity, and then at Chili's. I hadn't got a taste of the real world just yet. Just the student life. And this was the first moment that I realized that no matter what you want out of life, not only will society have something to say about that, but they'll try to crush your dreams. They'll try to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it, why you should go the safe route, and why you should just do the thing that everyone else does, because it's a proven path. You'll be able to bring food to the table, which drives me insane. It drives me insane to think that it can be so easy for some people to just want to fit in, and to not pursue what they want out of life, as if they're living somebody else's life and they're trying to fulfill other people's desires. Like, I never understood why society is so quick to try and crush your dream. It definitely had me feeling frustrated about not feeling that validation, that support, especially when the rapport was already high. At the time, I think what that started to do for me is something unhealthy. I started to do everything with this selfish act to prove people wrong. I wanted to prove this woman wrong. I wanted to show her that I could pursue photography full time. I could do it. And so I did. Stop working at Chili's shortly after this. I feel like I maybe worked there for another couple months. But I pursued photography. and I started learning video, and I started going after it. And I started shooting weddings, started shooting, projects for friends, small businesses, things of that nature. And I loved it. But deep down in the whole process, I always felt I'm going to prove this lady wrong. And I think that, sure, that might give you motivation to go after whatever it is. You might have that person in your life who's telling you can't do something, and all you can think about is that voice in your mind that's like, I'm going to prove this person wrong. I'm going to do it. Thank you for telling me I couldn't do it, because now I am going to do it. Well, I think that might be able to motivate you. I don't know if it's necessarily the healthiest thing to do because of the character traits that can sort of encourage. What kind of character traits could that encourage? Well, one is arrogance, selfishness, willing to do whatever it takes just to prove somebody wrong instead of leaning into your own intuition. Those are the lessons that I've learned. Another lesson that I've learned after that experience, at the time I was really pissed off about it, but I'm actually, in the retrospect, really grateful because it taught me something. It taught me that seeking validation is pointless. It's pointless. Why do you need somebody's approval to go do what you want to do? Why do you need their approval on what step to take next? Why do you need anybody's approval for anything? Unless it's somebody who is literally embodying the type of person that you want to become, why do we feel the need to get approval from other people? As if their approval is going to make a difference. How many times have you asked for approval on something and it didn't work out the way both of y'all thought it was just gonna work out? That's why it's pointless. It's pointless because when you receive validation, it feels great in the moment. Oh my God, it feels great. Like, I wish that lady could have just told me, go for it, you're gonna do great. I bet you're amazing at photography. That would have put me on such a high. But I guarantee I would not be talking about that situation right now if it weren't for that. Another thing that I learned is that anything is possible when you dedicate yourself to it on top of patience. I think the patience is like really the tough part that I struggle with, that a lot of people struggle with. And that's okay. But it's always a matter of waking up the next day and just doing the work, dedicating yourself to it, showing up, getting back up and just doing what you can with the resources that you have, with the knowledge that you have. It's not good for you to just only act whenever you feel like you have everything figured out, or when you feel like you have approval from others. Take action, even if you don't know what to do. Just take action. Because over time, you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to have lessons thrown at you, you're going to have people thrown at you who teach you the most wild lessons that you never would have thought of. But it started with you taking that action. Let's play a role. Let's do a role play really quick. If I were to listen to this lady and say, maybe I shouldn't do photography. Maybe I should just go get a finance job or a banking job. Just work in the corporate life. Because it's a clear path. I just got to follow step 1, step 2, step 3. What everybody else has done. The university usually lays it out for you. It's just a matter of doing the work. So let's say I do that. Then I go 10 years, 5 years, couple years. Let's say 5 years. I go 5 years down the line. And I've got this secure job. Let's say 6 figures coming in. I'm dedicated to my work. However, I'm not passionate about it, right? Fulfilling my clients and, serving their food and making a good experience, just like I did at Chili's, just to get to 30 and realize that I haven't made any steps towards the life that I actually want. Now I have this expectation of 6 figures. I probably have money spending habits that are not healthy, meaning that if I were to give this up, I'd be screwed. If I were to go to literally no revenue coming in, no income, I'd probably be struggling because my conditions are making it difficult. I probably would have a kid, maybe not. But let's say I had a kid, had to provide for him or her. I'd assume that if I had a kid, I'd have a wife as well. And I'd have all of this baggage to then filter through to go after what it is that I want to do. And I think that is scary. That is scarier than going a year without being able to bring food to the table. That is scarier than going 60 years of my life down the road and thinking back to myself thinking, why did I listen to that lady? Why didn't I just pursue photography? And so I like to think of those comparisons because I think it helps numb the temporary pain of lack of validation or somebody's criticizing of whatever it is I'm doing. And I think that's where your intuition comes in. Your intuition is, what do you think on your last day of life? What would you wish you would have done? So when you're trying to listen to your intuition, instead of thinking, oh, intuition, what is my intuition? Just think to yourself, what matters? What matters in this life? Because the sun's going to come up and the sun's going to come down regardless if you're here or not. When you die, the world still goes on. And that's why you should be a little bit selfish. Because if you're not going to be a little bit selfish, how do you expect to grow? Everything has its balance, but if you're not selfish in some way or another, if you're not waking up in the morning and you're not feeling selfish enough to take care of yourself, how do you expect to help others? How do you expect to live a happy enough life to where you're not bitter enough about yourself, to where you create this negative experience for other people around you because you're just so miserable? Why is that more of a sexy option to society whenever you could just eat shit for a little bit? In the grand scheme of life, it's not that long, but eat shit for a little bit, learn about yourself, build character, and go after the thing that you want. It may be something that nobody has ever done in their life, but you want to do it. So go do it, regardless of what people say. And when people reject whatever your dream is, don't get arrogant about it like I did. Don't get arrogant, but just say, look, maybe you just don't understand. And maybe that this person is just bitter because they can't get out of their own way and they want you to come down to their level. Don't forget about whatever it is that you want out of this life, and never, ever let somebody else dictate how you live your life. Another lesson that I learned is that nothing worth striving for will be easy. And it shouldn't. Why should it be easy? If there's no struggle, if there's no hardship, if there's no pain in the gym, how do you expect to grow muscle? How do you expect to grow character, to learn about yourself, if everything is just so easy, smooth, seamless? It's like as if somebody's just literally handing you the plate. Maybe I'm going a little too far down these analogies. But if people are just handing you the blueprint, then what is the fun in life? Let's say you do accomplish that thing. Let's say tomorrow you wake up and you're making $1 million. Now what? Now what? You're still the same person. The only difference is that you got all this money coming in. Do you know how to handle that money? Do you know what to do with it? Do you know how to make that money grow? No, because you haven't learned those lessons that come with just giving it your best shot, just taking action when you don't know what to do. Nothing worth striving for will be easy, and it shouldn't, because everyone else would do it. Everybody in this world would be jacked, would be millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, and there would be nothing worth striving for. And I think when you're striving for something, that means you're facing some hardship, you're struggling. And that's what it's about, because that's when you learn so much about yourself. And that's when you make the most growth. And when you realize that it's not necessarily about the destination, it's about the journey. Then the journey can become fun. Having a challenge can become fun. Whenever you get to that point where you're growing, it might get to the point where you're literally looking for the challenge. Where is the challenge? Because on the other side of that challenge is growth. If there's anything I could encourage for you, it's to really ask yourself what you want out of life. Only you. And the only way you're going to get this answer is if you create stillness, if you create space, if you stop asking for approval, and you just lean into who you are, your experiences, what you want out of this life. I strongly encourage you to ask yourself that, and to never stop asking yourself that. When you feel like you have the answer, double check it. Earlier I said that if you are struggling leaning into your intuition, to just think about your deathbed. If you had 1 week of life left, what would you do? What would you wake up and think? Who would you call? Who would you provide value for? How would you provide value for them? How do you want to leave this world a better place, even if it's just a millimeter better? What is it that you would do? Whatever your answer is, it's not going to be perfect, and perfect is not the answer. But whatever it is a direction. And as long as you're taking baby steps in that direction, then you are manifesting your dream life. The more you don't take those baby steps, the farther away you are from your dream life. So when you feel like you have a direction, don't try to have the whole plan figured out, because it's impossible. You're not going to have the whole plan figured out. But now that you have that direction, take baby steps, commit and submit yourself to the process. Heard this on a video today, and I love this analogy, to just submit yourself. Submit yourself to the process, to not let yourself overcomplicate how you're going to do it or what all you need to do. Just take one step today, and then take one more step tomorrow, and then take one more step the next day, and the next day, and the next day. When you get to the end of the week, ask yourself, is there anything that I could have done differently? Anything. That's how you're going to make progress. Not by sitting here planning out and trying to figure out the perfect template for you to take that has zero possibility of failure. Failure is the direction of growth. You want things to tell you that you suck right now. When something tells you that you suck, doesn't mean you're going to suck forever. Whenever I post a video and it only gets 10 views, it doesn't mean I suck. Sure, this video sucked, but it doesn't mean I suck. It means that I can wake up and I can make this next video better. And if I get 11 views, then that's progress. That's the mindset that I think you need to ingrain to live a growth lifestyle, one that is also at peace. I think it's possible to strive for growth and be at peace. And I think it's by knowing that you're taking baby steps and that no matter what, you're going to figure it out. That's the mindset. Another thing that I want to bring up is to be tolerant with others, but strict with yourself. When naysayers arise, when they come in your way and they tell you to just bring food to the table, don't be a dick. Just laugh it off. But when it comes to holding promises with yourself, be as strict as possible. When you figure out what direction it is that you want to take, be strict with yourself. Make it a commitment. Like, you must take a baby step today. One thing each day, one step every single day. Hold that promise to yourself. And this is the quickest way to gain confidence, is to just keep holding these promises to yourself, keeping them, accomplishing it, checking it off the list. Might not be perfect, but it's something. You'll get better as you go. Keep in mind that there's no better time to start than now. The first best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is today. You're going to figure it out along the way. That is the only way you're going to figure it out. And like I said earlier, later in life, you're going to have more baggage to sift through in order to accomplish your goal. So why not start today? Why not just take the smallest, minute step today? Why not? These baby steps will compound over time, and you'll look back and think, damn, I'm so glad I did not listen to that lady who told me to make sure to bring food on the table. And it wasn't a matter of just this long step that I took. It was waking up each day. Let me reach out to this person. Let me try to book this wedding. Let me, take some photos of some friends and just promote myself. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. That's all that matters. The sooner you start, the better. The sooner you start, the quicker you grow. And the sooner you start, the better you're going to feel about yourself in the long run. Don't worry about having everything figured out, because you're going to figure it out along the way. So, get after it. Thank you so much for listening to this story. This is like kind of a new thing that I'm experimenting with. So let me know what you thought. If you're watching this on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, do me a favor and leave a 5-star review if you're enjoying this podcast. That might be me seeking validation. so that I can keep making more podcasts. But this is like a really big story to me. I think about it all the time, and I think that moments like this in life where we feel that gut wrench, that heat rush in our skin, those are the moments that really help us build character, and they give us perspective. Like I sure wish that this woman would have told me to, supported me and everything, but at the end of the day, she taught me a lesson. And I think that there's little lessons like this in every single day of your life, in every single conversation, every interaction you have with strangers. So if anything, just be mindful. Be mindful of what's happening in life, because life is happening for you, not to you. These things come to you and they might feel like shit in the moment, but later in life, you realize that each of these significant moments added up to this beautiful story, which is your story. So don't let other people dictate your story for you, because you have a beautiful story deep down inside of you. I don't care what it is that you're going through right now. There is a beautiful story inside of you, and it needs to be expressed, and it also needs to be acknowledged. So be thankful for hardship, for failure, for these lessons, for these unexpected moments, because you're going to grow so much along the way, and it's going to make this world a better place. Appreciate y'all listening to my story today, and I'll see you on the next one.